That Thunderbolts trailer, huh? I don't know about you, but I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
Oh, absolutely. It threw everyone for a loop. For a minute there, I think we all thought we were getting another Avengers situation, you know?
Right, like, okay, time to assemble the next big team of superpowered do-gooders, but, this. This feels different.
Totally different.
Yelena, U.S. agent, Taskmaster, even a Red Guardian thrown in the mix. And then, to top it all off, Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine just casually strolling in like she owns the place.
Talk about an entrance. Like, she is not here to play games.
No, she is not, which honestly makes the whole thing even more intriguing. What is going on in the MCU right now? It's like everything we thought we knew about heroes and villains is being flipped on its head.
And it makes you wonder, right? Like, why now? Why introduce a team like the Thunderbolts at this particular moment in the MCU?
Exactly.
Well, I think you have to look at the state of the MCU post-Endgame.
Okay, yeah, because we're not exactly in Kansas anymore, are we?
Not even close. We're talking about a world still rebuilding, still processing the trauma of those universe-altering events, the snap, the blip, all of it. The very fabric of reality was torn apart and stitched back together. And in the aftermath, there's this sense that, well, the old rules don't apply anymore. Not really.
Right, like even the Avengers, the ones who are supposed to protect us from these existential threats, they're kind of gone, scattered, or retired.
Exactly. So we're left with this void, this uncertainty. And into that void steps a team like the Thunderbolts.
So are they heroes? Are they villains? Are they something in between?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I think the MCU is intentionally blurring those lines.
Right.
Because after everything that's happened, it makes you question what a hero even is anymore.
Right. Is it someone who wears a cape and punches bad guys? Or is it
Yeah.
something more complicated than that? Because let's face it, the world feels pretty vulnerable right now. And maybe, just maybe, a team like the Thunderbolts, with their questionable methods and morally gray areas, maybe they're exactly what the MCU needs right now.
It's like the universe is saying, okay, we tried the whole superhero thing, but maybe we need to try something different. And that's what makes the Thunderbolts so fascinating. They represent a shift in perspective, a response to a world grappling with complex problems that traditional heroism just might not be equipped to handle.
Which is kind of a terrifying thought when you think about it.
Oh, absolutely terrifying, but also kind of exciting. We're in uncharted territory here, and that's always a recipe for some seriously compelling storytelling.
So we've got this team, the Thunderbolts, poised to shake things up in the MCU. But to really grasp what they're all about, we need to dig into their comic book origins.
Oh, absolutely. You can't talk about the Thunderbolts without going back to their roots.
Because it's not like they just showed up one day and joined the Avengers for like a friendly game of softball.
No, not at all. Their introduction was, well, let's just say it sent shockwaves through the Marvel Universe.
Okay, so paint us a picture. We're talking 1997, the world of Marvel Comics. What's going on?
So the Marvel Universe was in a state of chaos. This event called Onslaught had just happened. This massive, superpowered being that basically threatened to wipe out all of existence as we know it.
Casual Tuesday for Marvel, right?
Right. But this time, it was different. Because when the dust settled, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
Professor X, gone. All presumed dead.
Whoa, talk about a power vacuum.
Exactly. The world was reeling, people were terrified, they had lost their greatest heroes, and there was no one to take their place.
So what happens?
Well, that's when they showed up the Thunderbolts. Led by Citizen Veef, a seemingly noble hero with a cool costume and a team of equally impressive individuals ready to defend the innocent and uphold justice.
Sounds promising, right? It's a perfect replacements for a world desperate for hope.
Except there was a catch. A huge one.
Okay, I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this.
The Thunderbolts weren't heroes.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Wait, what?
They were villains. The masters of evil in disguise. Baron Zemo, the mastermind behind it all, had orchestrated the entire thing.
No way. So they were just going to waltz in, pretend to be heroes, and then what? Take over the world.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Zemo knew that a world mourning its heroes would be all too eager to embrace anyone who even remotely resembled a savior, and he was going to exploit that desperation to seize power.
That is cold.
It was a brilliant plan, actually. And for a while, it worked. The Thunderbolts, they played their parts perfectly. They gained the public's trust. They even took down a few villains, mostly to keep up appearances, of course. But all the while, Zemo was pulling the strings, moving them into position for his grand takeover.
So what happened? Did they actually go through with it? So they were just going to pull off this massive con, just slip into the role of heroes, and then bam, world domination.
Well, it wasn't quite that simple. See, that's the thing about the Thunderbolts. Their story, it never stays the same for too long. And that's what makes them so fascinating.
Okay, so what happened? Did they actually go through with Zemo's plan?
Well, Zemo's plan, it was all about control, about exploiting a vulnerable world for his own gain.
Classic Zemo, right?
Exactly. But the thing is, the other Thunderbolts, the ones who were just following orders, well, they started to question things. They saw how much people needed them, how much hope they represented, and they started to wonder if maybe, just maybe, they could actually be the heroes everyone thought they were.
Wow. So the fake heroes started to believe their own act.
In a way, yeah. And that's where things get really interesting because that internal conflict, that struggle between who they were and who they wanted to be, it became a defining characteristic of the Thunderbolts.
So it's less about world domination and more about identity.
Exactly. And that theme, it's played out again and again with different iterations of the team. Like take Norman Osborn, for example. You know, the Green Goblin.
Oh, yeah, I know him. Didn't he try to kill Spider-Man like 100 times?
100 times,
Yeah.
give or take. But anyway, after this whole secret invasion thing went down, shape-shifting aliens, global paranoia, the whole 9 yards Osborn, he saw an opportunity.
To finally take down Spider-Man.
Well, that too, but on a much larger scale. He used the Thunderbolts to, well, basically become the face of a new world order. It was all about security,
Yeah.
about rooting out threats, real or imagined. And the Thunderbolts, they were his weapon, his enforcers.
Wow. So from fake heroes to a government-sanctioned hit squad, that's a dark turn.
Yeah, it was a dark time. But that's the thing about the Thunderbolts. They reflect the state of the Marvel Universe, you know? In times of fear and uncertainty, they become a tool for control, for order, at any cost.
Okay, so what about Luke Cage? He led a team of Thunderbolts at one point, right?
He did, and that was a whole different dynamic. Cage, he's all about second chances, about redemption. He saw the potential for good in even the most jaded, the most broken individuals.
So he was trying to turn them into actual heroes.
Yeah, basically. But it wasn't easy. These are characters with some serious baggage, some serious darkness in their pasts.
Makes you wonder if some people can actually change, you know?
It's the age-old question, isn't it? But that's what makes the Thunderbolts so compelling. They force us to confront those questions, to grapple with the complexities of morality and redemption. And those are themes that resonate even beyond the pages of a comic book.
Okay, so we've gone from Zemo's master plan to Osborn's power grab to Cage's redemption arc, and now we've got the MCU version about to explode onto the scene. And honestly,
Yeah.
I have no idea what to expect, but I am excited to find out.
Me too. Because look who we're dealing with here. Yelena Belova, still grappling with Natasha's legacy, trying to figure out who she is in a world without her sister. U.S. agent, desperately trying to live up to, or maybe tear down, the mantle of Captain America. Taskmaster, Ghost, Red Guardian, these are characters who have been through the ringer, they've seen the underbelly of the hero game, and they've come out the other side. Well, let's just say they've got some rough edges.
And let's not forget about Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
Ah, yes. The enigmatic Contessa. She is a force to be reckoned with.
That's an understatement. But seriously, she's pulling the strings here, and I have no idea what her game is. Is she working for the government? Some secret organization?
Those are the questions, right? And I think that's what makes this deep dive, what makes this whole Thunderbolt situation so damn interesting.
Yeah.
We're on the edge of something new, something potentially dangerous. The MCU has been building to this, carefully weaving these characters and their stories together. And now it feels like the stage is set for something truly explosive.
It's like, if the Avengers represented an ideal, then maybe the Thunderbolts, they represent the flip side of that. The messy, unpredictable reality of a world where the lines between good and bad are constantly being redrawn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In a world like that, well, who knows what the future holds? One thing's for sure, it's going to be one hell of a ride.
And there you have it, the Thunderbolts. Heroes, villains, or something else entirely.
That's the question we'll be grappling with as the MCU unfolds.
Buckle up, everyone.